The sky above your head is no longer empty space. It is the most valuable piece of real estate on the planet. You are currently standing in a city where the sky is just as busy as the streets below you. Imagine looking up and seeing thousands of silent vehicles zooming between skyscrapers like a scene straight out of a movie. This isn't a dream about the year 2099, because this is actually happening right now in cities like Shenzhen. We have spent decades dreaming about flying cars, but we always thought the challenge was just the vehicle itself. It turns out that building the flying car was actually the easy part of the puzzle to solve. The real challenge is building an entire world that can support thousands of these things flying at once. Welcome to the birth of the low-altitude economy, a trillion-dollar industry that is about to change how you live. In this video, we are going to look at the invisible infrastructure making this possible right under our noses. We will explore how cities are being redesigned to turn every rooftop into a potential airport for you. And we will find out why one specific city in China has already won the race to the future. By the end of this, you will understand why your next Uber might not have any wheels at all. Let's start by defining what we actually mean when we talk about the low-altitude economy, or the LAE. Most people think of the sky as a place for giant planes flying at 30,000 feet across the ocean. But the LAE is everything happening in the space between the ground and about 1,000 meters up. This is the sweet spot where drones, helicopters, and new flying cars, called eVTOLs, live and breathe. For a long time, this space was mostly empty because humans simply could not manage the complexity of it. But thanks to new technology, we are turning this empty air into a massive highway system for everything. It started with small delivery drones carrying your lunch or your new pair of shoes across town, but it has quickly evolved into carrying blood supplies for hospitals, and now even carrying actual human passengers. This transition from experimental toys to commercial-scale transportation is the catalyst for a global revolution. It is fundamentally reshaping the aesthetic and the functional skyline of every modern city on the Earth. While the world was busy arguing if flying cars were possible, Shenzhen decided to make them inevitable. If you want to see what this looks like in practice, you have to look at Shenzhen, China. Shenzhen is known as the hardware capital of the world, and it is now the undisputed global drone capital. This city didn't just wait for flying cars to show up. They built an entire ecosystem to invite them in. The local government didn't just give permission. They provided massive subsidies and strategic policy initiatives to companies. Because of this support, the scale of operations in Shenzhen is already light years ahead of everywhere else. There are thousands of daily flights occurring right now for logistics, emergency medical supplies, and city inspections. Citizens in Shenzhen are already used to seeing autonomous aerial platforms hovering near their office windows. It is no longer a spectacle for them because it has become a normal part of their daily life and commerce. But how do you actually land thousands of flying cars in a crowded city without crashing into buildings? The answer lies in a new kind of physical infrastructure called a Vertaport, which is the future of the airport. These are not just flat slabs of concrete. They are highly advanced, multimodal hubs that blend into the landscape. Architects are now designing buildings where the top 3 floors are dedicated entirely to aerial traffic and passengers. We are seeing a massive wave of retrofitting where old skyscraper rooftops and parking garages become landing pads. These pads have to be incredibly strong to handle the weight and the constant pressure of daily takeoffs. Inside these vertiports, you will find automated high-speed megawatt charging stations that look like something from NASA. Since these vehicles are all electric, they need to charge up in minutes, not hours, to stay profitable. The passenger terminals are being designed for speed, so you can go from the street to the sky in seconds. Security checks are being automated with biometrics, so there are no long lines like you see at the airport. We are witnessing the death of the pilot and the birth of a giant, invisible, aerial brain. But the infrastructure isn't just about the fancy terminals where people get on and off the vehicles. There are also hidden maintenance hubs tucked away in industrial zones for vehicle inspection and battery swapping. Every time a flying car lands, a robotic arm might swap its battery so it can take off again immediately. This keeps the fleet moving and ensures that no vehicle is ever sitting idle while its batteries slowly fill up. If the vertiports are the body of this new economy, then the digital nervous system is its brain. You cannot have thousands of autonomous vehicles flying around without an incredibly fast way for them to talk. This is why 5G and even 6G connectivity are absolutely essential for the safety of low-altitude flight. These networks provide ultra-low latency, which means the vehicles can react to each other in milliseconds. If one drone hits a bird, every other drone in the area knows about it instantly and changes its path. Cities are also installing low-altitude radar networks that can track objects as small as a football. Managing thousands of small objects in complex urban corridors is much harder than managing big planes in the open sky. To handle this, engineers are creating what they call digital twin technology for entire metropolitan areas. This is a real-time virtual map of the city that accounts for every building, tree, and power line in existence. The AI air traffic management system uses this map to calculate the perfect flight path for every single vehicle. Human air traffic controllers simply cannot handle the density of traffic we are talking about for the future. Instead, automated systems will act like a giant invisible hand, guiding every vehicle safely to its destination. This brings up a huge concern that everyone is thinking about right now, which is cybersecurity. If a city depends on its sky for food, medicine, and transport, the aerial grid must be unhackable. Protecting these systems from interference is one of the biggest challenges engineers are facing today. Forget everything you know about helicopters. The modern eVTOL is a computer with wings, and it's safer than your car. We also have to look at the vehicles themselves because they are evolving at a record-breaking pace. We have moved past simple, multi-rotors that look like big toy drones into sophisticated lift and cruise designs. These new eVTOLs can take off vertically like a helicopter, but then fly forward like a traditional airplane. This makes them much more efficient and allows them to travel much further on a single battery charge. One of the biggest hurdles for public acceptance is noise, because nobody wants a buzzing hive over their house. Engineers are working tirelessly on noise mitigation to ensure these craft are quiet enough for residential zones. They are using specialized blade shapes and electric motors that hum rather than roar or scream. Safety is another massive priority, and the tech here is honestly pretty incredible to see in action. Many of these vehicles are equipped with ballistic parachutes that can deploy in less than a second if needed. They also have redundant propulsion systems, so if one motor fails, the other 5 or 6 can still land safely. The autonomous navigation software is getting so good that these vehicles can fly through fog or wind without a pilot. They use lasers and cameras to see the world better than a human eye ever could in bad weather. But technology alone isn't enough to make this work. We need the right laws and rules to follow. Governments are currently creating dedicated highways in the sky to separate different types of aerial traffic. Imagine layers of air where slow delivery drones stay at one height and fast passenger craft stay at another. This airspace zoning prevents collisions and makes sure that a pizza delivery doesn't get in the way of an ambulance. Certification standards are also being developed globally to ensure that every vehicle is truly airworthy. These standards are just as strict as those for commercial jets because one accident could ruin the whole industry. There are also serious conversations happening about privacy protocols for people living in high-rise apartments. People don't want drones with cameras flying past their bedroom windows every 5 minutes of the day. The greatest luxury of the 21st century isn't a fancy car. It's the ability to never be stuck in traffic again. Managing these public concerns is just as important as the engineering itself for the long term. This requires massive cross-departmental coordination between city planners, aviation experts, and transport bureaus. It is a giant puzzle where every piece has to fit perfectly for the city to keep functioning smoothly. If we get this right, the socio-economic impact will be nothing short of a total revolution for humanity. We are looking at the last mile revolution, where delivery times drop from hours to just a few minutes. This will drastically reduce road congestion because thousands of vans will no longer need to be on the street. The economic multiplier effect is also huge because this industry is creating thousands of new high-tech jobs. We need software developers, aerospace engineers, Vertaport managers, and specialized technicians for the fleet. Sustainability is another huge win because shifting to electric aerial transport helps us reach carbon-neutral goals. Flying in a straight line is often much more energy efficient than driving a car through stop-and-go traffic. The future outlook for this technology is a roadmap from niche luxury transport to a universal utility. Right now, a flight across a city might be expensive, but soon it could cost the same as a bus ticket. As the scale of the infrastructure grows, the cost of each individual trip will continue to drop. We are standing at the edge of a world where the three-dimensional city finally becomes a reality for everyone. Think about how much time you waste every single week just sitting in traffic and staring at a bumper. The low-altitude economy promises to give that time back to you by using the space we have ignored for centuries. It is about more than just cool gadgets. It is about making our cities more livable and more human. Shenzhen has shown us that the blueprint exists and that it is actually working in the real world. Now, it is just a matter of time before the rest of the world catches up and looks to the sky. Every rooftop you see could be a doorway to another part of the city in just a few minutes. The noise of the street could be replaced by the quiet hum of electric wings passing overhead. We are moving away from the era of being stuck on the ground and into the era of true freedom. The infrastructure being built today is the foundation for how our grandchildren will travel to school and work. It is a complex, difficult, and expensive journey, but the rewards are almost impossible to measure. The next time you look up at a clear blue sky, try to imagine the invisible highways already being drawn there. Those lines are the future of our economy and the new way that we will all connect with each other. The low-altitude economy is no longer a distant possibility. It is the ground beneath our feet and the air above our heads. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the future of flight,